Look at who's looking at them. You're seeing it's general market media, NBC that we were just talking about, and it's partnerships, ABC and Univision, versus pure Latino efforts. My guess would be that it'll be these on the left who are going to go after the large opportunities, and the niche opportunities will be more purely Latino in that sense. Spanish is still going to be incredibly important, and anybody who tells you otherwise is stupid. And yes, in the media business, everybody's excited about the new shiny little object, but you're still going to have, presumably, 66% of these 66 million people will be Spanish speaking. They won't all be Spanish dominant, but they'll be either Spanish dominant or bilingual. So Univision is going to be around for many, many, many years. And Univision right now is having its best years ever. They're more, they have larger web audiences, larger viewership. I mean, they're beating Fox or they beat NBC, on prime time numerous times now. They are investing in new media. Somebody mentioned Uvideos, and they're a rapidly growing company. They're very aggressive and they're very nimble. One of the things they did was Unimas. They took Telefutura, turned it Unimas, rebranded it as a younger, cooler Spanish language brand, and it's now the #2 property. It's larger than Telemundo. Right? So Univision's #2 property is larger than the #2 Hispanic company. That's how good they're having it right now. Then you see Mundo Fox, another big partnership between Fox and a media company. Exactly. Sorry? Sí, correcto, RCN. They're not going to go away anytime soon. They're going to be here for a long time. So the Spanish language side of things is still very healthy. It's going to be healthy for a very long time. What's changing is that there's now another healthy segment of the Hispanic market that's coming to the fore. And because it's new and shiny, people are excited about it. You see the rise of targeted media for current Latinos. And this is irrespective of language. So you have Fusion in English. You have MeToo, which is a YouTube multi-channel network with thousands, I should have written it down. I think a few million followers on YouTube, subscribers. I may double check that number, but large. And they have thousands and thousands of content partners and content. You have individual YouTube celebrities. I think the number 8 or number 9 individual person with YouTube follower is a gentleman from Chile, Spanish language. People Español just launched or just announced the launch of Chica magazine. It's a quarterly, I think. It's English language. It's fashion and style and beauty. Younger demographic than People Español, and it's in English. So a lot is happening. NBC Latino, CNN Latino might be going under, but a lot of other things are happening. So we are thriving. And I think that it stands to reason immigration patterns will change. We went from a period of massive immigration inflows to now we're in a period of net zero immigration flows. That maybe we stay there, but we certainly can bet that the who is immigrating is going to change, and there's a growing demand for skilled Mexican labor and mid-level type office workers and people with engineering degrees and on. And there's a large number of them down in Mexico, and without a doubt we're going to go after them. I mean, that regardless of what happens with immigration reform, we'll find a way to get these people here if we need them. The challenges are, well, obviously there's the growing preference for English language media by Latinos. This notion that acculturation is ultimately a stronger, faster force at play than immigration. More to the point, we see decline of television among young Latinos. So this is a risky thing for a scalable media business because nothing is yet as big and as powerful as television. If you really want to be impactful in this country, you still have to be on TV. And then we see the entry of non-Hispanic media into the issues and celebrities and things that matter to us. All of these are doing so. Netflix just announced a Spanish language series. Hulu just signed a number of deals with Spanish language media properties. Disney and ABC Family, Selena Gomez, the entire cast of the Witches, whatever. They've been developing Hispanic talent. They've been developing Hispanic talent for years. They're very aware of what they're doing. Nickelodeon, Dora the Explorer is a perfect example. ESPN, last year in 2015, ESPN had 4 priorities. I don't remember what all 4 of them were, but I remember 2 of them. These were their global priorities. One was U.S. Latino audience. Number 2 was Latin America audience. So 2 out of their 4 global priorities were related to this that's happening here. So media is thriving. That's unquestionable. Last 2 slides. This is the promised slide by Guy Garcia, who works for a company called Ethnifax, and they partner with Latinworks, a really respected agency down in Texas. So Guy and Ethnifax have been saying for a while is that it's not about biculturalism, it's about ambiculturalism. The notion that you feel that your cultural identity is somewhat ambiguous, depending on the moment, depending on the external influences. You were talking about, when your sons, when they hear Latino music, they're more Latino. When they hang out with their black friends, they're more black. That notion, that ability to flow with the cultural, exactly, is different than it was in the past. So, what our recent research does, and I apologize I didn't put this came out about 3 weeks ago. They're saying that 71% of Latinos who today say that they are more American than Latino want to be equally Latino and American in the future. They want to find that ambicultural balance. 85%, no surprise, of Latinos who say that they today are equally Latino and American want to remain that way, right? Which makes you wonder if there's 15% who want to be more Latino or more American, don't know. And then 45% of Latinos who call themselves more Latino also want to move in this direction. They want to be more American and Latino. They want that equalness in their lives. So, I see this, and to me it makes, that Fusion is on the right track. And let me say, I don't work for Fusion anymore, and I don't think they're perfect, but I think it's clear that they're on the right track in certain things. The problem for Fusion is starting from scratch. As I mentioned earlier, the business model is a cable news model. The audiences will watch hit shows and certainly will be online, but to get them to come into your television every single night is a real challenge. But I think this also tells us that there is media that is already talking to these people that could presumably pivot in this direction and be a real challenge to Fusion and go through in that space. And this is where BuzzFeed comes to mind. So BuzzFeed talks a lot about that what they're here for, at least in the United States, is to tell American stories. Not black stories, not Latino stories, not political stories, American stories. But what they want is a really diverse group of people to tell those stories. So they hired one very capable young man named Adrian Carrasquillo, who was one of the founding editors at Fox News Latino, then was at NBC Latino before he went to BuzzFeed. And Adrian's role there is to help BuzzFeed tell those American stories that are coming from the Hispanic population, right? Or that impact the Hispanic population in a particular way. But Adrian doesn't only write Hispanic stories. He covers a wide variety. He's a breaking news editor. He's allowed to cover any story as long as it's happening right now. Where he adds the biggest differential relative to his other editors is that he has his eye on what's happening in the Hispanic space better than they do, because he comes from it. I happen to know that BuzzFeed's hiring. They're looking to hire 2, 3, 4 more people like Adrian. That to me is the model. That's where things are going. They can pivot towards this audience as quickly and maybe more efficiently than starting up an entire new business to do so. Maybe. Final slide. So what's tomorrow look like? Well, I think it's going to be incredibly diverse. You're going to have different things about different media properties that people really jump at. You have American Life, which it's all about the story. They find great stories, and that's all they really do. They do really well. You have Now This News, which I believe was bought by Fox recently. I may be wrong about who bought them. It's all video. Video is the mission, video is the content, video is the revenue. It's all about video. They don't care about anything else. It's just video, it's all online. You have Facebook and social media, ubiquitous. Everywhere you go, these people are delivering news essentially to your media. Vox, which is one of many that came up recently, if you're not familiar with it. This is where Ezra Klein from Washington Post wonk blog, he left because he told Washington Post, pay me $10 million and to do this big idea of mine or I walk. They said, no, you walk. He found a company called Vox to basically do it. And the truth is that this buzzy talent, everybody's talking about Ezra for a few weeks there. They bring the goods. He walks the talk. When he says that he's going to tell you stories in a different way that you're going to care about, he's been doing it. You have Upward, where they use content not as the end of the story, but the content is purely as a delivery vehicle for their mission. They are a social-minded enterprise. They want people to care about certain social issues. And they find content created by other people, and they promote it to get you to care about these issues. And they do it incredibly well. They're very, very disciplined about what they do. Vice News comes from Vice Magazine. A very forceful and distinctive voice. Nobody sounds like Vice. Nobody looks like Vice. So they stand out. And then Fusion, just to put a final mention of them, they're the first, I think, to really understand, and I think, sorry, Jessica, you phrased it so well, that it's really about the multicultural mindset. That's really what Fusion sees as the opportunity, and that multicultural mindset resonates with all millennials for the most part, and will resonate a little bit more with the Hispanics that they have a natural opportunity with. So thinking, and there's obviously millions and millions more here, I just want to call these out. It's an all of the above reality. You know, there's not going to be one media that dominates versus others, presumably, but any media that really wants to be successful is going to have to include Hispanics. You cannot have a scalable, impactful media property that isn't somehow pulling in a large number of those 66 million people in 2020. English language, in terms of Hispanic, will be dominant because of the affinities and the opportunities there, but I think we've shown there still is a lot of real reason why the Spanish language side will still be very robust and very successful, and will be a very important part going forward. And that is it. And you have no more questions, you ask me more.